In this brief lesson, we'll learn how to handle the if versus whether conundrum. Now, in everyday speech, people often use the words if and whether interchangeably. For example, many believe that the sentence, Sue doesn't know if she passed the test, is equivalent to the sentence, Sue doesn't know whether she passed the test. However, on the GMAT, the second sentence is preferable to the first. On the GMAT, the rule is this. Use if when you have a conditional sentence, and use whether when you're showing that two alternatives are possible. Now for me, the easiest way to determine whether to use if or whether is to first recognize a very useful feature about conditional sentences with if. The feature is that if we take a true conditional sentence and reverse the order, the reversed sentence still makes sense. Here's what I mean. Take the conditional sentence, if you work hard, then you will succeed. Notice that we can reverse the order of this sentence to get the equally correct sentence, you will succeed if you work hard. Notice that these sentences express the same idea. Similarly, we can take the conditional sentence, Peg will scream if you break that bowl, and reverse the order to get, if you break that bowl, then Peg will scream. This is a useful feature of conditional sentences because it will help us determine whether to use if or whether in a sentence. To show how, let's take the sentence, Sue doesn't know if she passed the test. Notice that the word if here suggests that this is a conditional sentence. Now, if this were a true conditional sentence, then reversing the order here should create a sentence that expresses the same message. However, when we reverse this sentence, we get, if Sue passed the test, then she doesn't know. This, of course, makes no sense. As such, we know that the original sentence is not correct. To fix this sentence, we can write, Sue doesn't know whether she passed the test. Okay, what about these two sentences? Which one is correct? Well, let's see what happens if we assume that if is correct here. Now, by assuming that if is correct, we're saying that this is a true conditional sentence, which means we can reverse the order. However, when we reverse the order of this sentence, we get, if Sarita paid the phone bill, then she cannot remember. Since this makes no sense, we know that the original sentence is incorrect, and the correct answer here is whether, as in, Sarita cannot remember whether she paid the phone bill. Okay, what about these last two sentences? Once again, let's assume that if is correct here and see what happens. Well, if the word if is correct, then this is a conditional sentence, which means we can reverse the order. When we reverse the order of this sentence, we get, if people don't participate, then the system doesn't work. This sentence makes sense, and it expresses the same message as the original sentence. As such, the correct answer here is, the system doesn't work if people don't participate. Alright, so that's how the GMAT handles sentences with if and whether. Now, before I end this lesson, I should mention that the rules shown here are not universally accepted. They are, however, accepted on the GMAT.